Hey everybody, it's Sarah, life coach for LGBTQ plus women. And I wanted to make a video for you around change and uncertainty and how we understand our responses to it, um, understand our loved ones' responses, our clients and our communities, and even looking at the world globally. And of course, at the moment, we're in this massive time of uncertainty and change with COVID-19. And I've used this model of change that I'm going to talk you through tonight a lot in my corporate career, leading large scale, like thousands and thousands of people through big organizational change that's involved job losses, it's involved restructures, mergers, takeovers, all that kind of stuff. And although it's not global, I think that the principles and the concepts definitely apply. So the model I'm talking about is often referred to as the change curve. It was developed by a woman called Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, and she did a lot of work with people who were suffering with terminal illness, so basically facing the end of their life. So it's sometimes referred to as the grief curve or the bereavement curve, which might already be starting to resonate because there's a hell of a lot of loss going on right now for people, you know, and a hell of a lot of worry and concern and fear and grieving for what we had before. So already maybe it's starting to kind of resonate in terms of the model itself, and I will show you that in a minute. But the key things that I want to get across, I suppose, with this video are that wherever you are in this process, because it is a process, it's absolutely natural and okay. And understanding that it is a journey, you know, change and going through change is a process. And I think that's really important to understand that different people might be at different places in that journey. And what does that mean? And help you to understand where you are and start to think about where maybe other people are in your life. So when you're thinking about your loved ones, your clients, your community, I think it can really help to understand where we're all at with this stuff. So let me show you it. Let me show you this model I'm talking about, this change curve. What it basically does is shows you that the process of change starts with shock. And we certainly, I think, felt that here in the UK, which is where I'm from. If you're watching this from other countries, I'm sure when coronavirus started to really be a big thing for you and the people around you and your country, there is a sense of shock, I think, that we felt. Definitely I felt it personally, but I think we felt it as a nation. And the next phase is denial. So this is a sort of disbelief, looking for evidence that it's not true, and really not wanting to believe, I think, the scale and the severity of this particular change that we're going through right now. And then the next phase is frustration and fear. So when we start to get over denial and think, actually, shit, man, this is really bloody happening, we start going down the curve, as it were. And quite a lot of frustration and even some anger that I've spoken to people just in the last couple of days about the fact that, you know, our lives have been curtailed in such severe ways. And people are really struggling with the implications of lockdown, of quarantine, of self-isolation. It's really hard, really hard. We all kind of get we need to do it, I think, but yeah, there is some frustration and a lot of anxiety and panic and all of that stuff that's talked about a lot here on social media and elsewhere. And the next phase, I'm afraid, before we get through frustration and fear completely, is we go then into the pit of despair, as it's sometimes called, turmoil and depression. So this is when we start to feel, you know, low mood, the grieving, the loss of all the things that we've had to give up, the potential loss of jobs, income, seeing our family, being with our loved ones. You know, a lot of people are now on their own. You know, I'm one of those people. A lot we're giving up and a lot we're losing. But we do come out of that, you know, and I personally have seen myself come up, you know, into this area of experimentation, this stage where we start to think, okay, so what can I do? You know, if it's about our businesses, it's about a lot of people thinking about doing stuff online, or finding different ways to connect with other people. You know, I've just set up Zoom today with my mum, you know, experimenting and getting used to this time that we have now, this change that's happened to us and is still happening. And beyond that, as you can see, we've got decision, starting to learn and adapt and feeling positive and hopeful for the future, before then the final sort of stage, which is acceptance. So that is the journey of change, the process of change. And I think a couple of things to say about this process is it's not linear. It's not you start at one end and you just go through it, you know, phase by phase. And that's the way it works. We can spend a lot of time in each of those stages, or we can get through it really quickly. We can go backwards. So I would say personally, I've definitely been in experiment more than once in the last fortnight probably, and gone backwards into turmoil and depression. When I hear new news, when I hear something that else, another thing that's maybe come to light about this whole situation, that's maybe meant another change for me or my loved ones or people that I care about or my community or my clients. So we can move about. And I think what might be interesting to think about is where you are, where the members of your family are that you're really trying to support right now. And if you're a business owner, where are your clients? If you want to help and support them in the best ways possible right now, where are they in this process of change? Because if they're in denial or frustration and fear, that's going to be very different to the way that you serve them, and the way you support them is going to be very different to it as if they were in experiment, for example. And I'm going to talk a bit more about that in my second video. So I'm going to leave you with this. I hope it's been useful. I'd love any feedback on it. And like I say, yeah, wherever you are, it's all natural. This is what happens. And you will go through all these stages, sometimes very quick, and we hardly notice. I would say in this example, probably we would recognise that we have gone to these places. I'd love to hear your feedback. I hope it's been useful, and look out for my second video. I'm just going to stop sharing and yeah, say goodbye and catch you all again soon. Thanks for watching.